Hi, this is Jenna. This is a special video that I'm making. Today, I want to talk about 5 differences between English and Korean. I've decided to make this video because I thought it was really important for those who are learning Korean to know this stuff. So I decided to make it just for them. So if you're one of those people, please watch carefully because if you know them, it'll help you understand and learn Korean better. So let's start. Okay, first off, these language differences come from different cultures. So let's take a quick look at each country's culture first. English-speaking cultures like America, okay, we say America is a melting pot with lots of different ethnicities living together. With everyone speaking different mother tongues, English as the common language had to be clear, direct, and quantifiable for effective communication. On the other hand, Korean culture is deeply rooted in its history and costumes as a single ethnic group. Plus, with Confucian values, respect for elders is a big deal. And age and background matter. That's why there are honorifics in the language, and expressions change depending on age and gender. Now, let's take a look at each difference. Okay, first, the role of context in language. In anthropology, high context and low context cultures are like two ends of a scale that measure how clear the messages are within a culture and how much context matters in communication. So context really stands out in showing the differences between languages, and here between English and Korean. English is considered a low context language. In such languages, understanding someone's meaning typically relies on listening to their explicit words. So English speakers usually often use direct language to convey their messages. In contrast, Korean is a high context language. In such languages, understanding depends on the overall atmosphere, situation, and even body language. And that's why we have a concept called nunchi. It's like the sixth sense. To understand what someone is trying to say, you have to have nunchi. So oftentimes, I or you are omitted in daily conversations because Koreans can understand who is being talked about based on the context. Okay, and additionally, in Korean, listeners respond based on what the speaker is asking. However, in English, the response like yes, I do or no, I don't are given even in response to negative questions. So here is an example. So let's take a look at it. So in both Korean and English, we can ask, did you do your homework yesterday? Oh, sorry, didn't you do your homework yesterday? In English, we say, no, I didn't. I couldn't do it because I was sick yesterday. So no matter what the question is, if your answer is no, then you respond with no. Whereas in Korean, if the same question is given, which is a negative question, then if you didn't do it, you don't say, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. You say, yes, I didn't. I couldn't do it because I was sick yesterday. So the response is same, but you answer by saying yes instead of no. So in Korean, okay, you respond. Okay, in English, you answer from your point of view. Whereas in Korean, you answer based on what the other person asks. So this is a very confusing thing for many people. And in my own experience, as I teach Korean students, I notice that they have a hard time answering negative questions because in Korean, we respond according to the question. So they would say, yes, I didn't, oftentimes. And I had to teach them, no, in English, if your answer is didn't, then you have to say, no, I didn't, not yes, I didn't. So this is something that is really tricky for Koreans. So I guess it's tricky for those who are learning Korean to use it the other way around. Okay, and second, variations in size perception. Okay, when listing time, dates, and year in sentences, in Korean, things in English we list the small things first, but in Korean we list the big things first. Okay, here's an example. This is an address to Seoul City Hall. Okay, in Korean we say the country first, and then the city, and then the district name and street name and the building number. So as you can see, the bigger frame, the bigger idea comes first, like the country, and then goes all the way down to building number. But in English, it's the opposite. You say the building number first, and then the country the last. So you can see how each country, each language perceives size differently. So here's another example. This is a sentence. I watched the movie with my friend at 9 p.m. on Sunday. So in English, you always list the smaller time frame first and then the bigger one. Whereas in Korean, you say the bigger one and then the smaller one. So here in Korean, 나는 일요일. 일요일 is Sunday. Okay, and 저녁 9시 is like 9 p.m. So you always list the bigger thing first and then the smaller thing later on. Okay, and this difference might come from Korea's history, especially after the Korean War, where the country was like the second poorest nation in the world. Back then, people really wanted to excel in everything, like making money, doing well in school, and having a good status. So I guess this is reflected in the language. And you can see, you're able to see this in ads as well. They would like brag about being the best, being the first in their copywriting. So as you can see, this value in their language, in the language as well. So yeah, where they list the biggest thing first. But as time went on, this style of writing kind of faded away, but it still does exist in sentences that we make. So, and it's also interesting that we can see how a country's past affects the way they talk. And because of their different histories, you can see why English and Korean are so different. Okay, next. Diverse in expression of colors. Another way to see how Korean and English are different is by looking at how they talk about colors. In English, there are names for every shade, but in Korean, they use a bunch of different words to describe colors. Okay, they've got native words like native Korean words and words borrowed from Chinese and words that are borrowed from English. Okay, so it's not just about color, but they also have different meanings. They can also mean different things and can be used in different ways. They have many different parts of speech for the colors. So Korean color words are split in two basically. One is to describe colors in a physical way, and one is to describe them in feelings and in other meanings. So let me show you some examples. As I said, there are many parts of speech. So this one is a native Korean word. Okay, 파란색, which means blue, And Sino-Korean word is words borrowed from Chinese. So 황색, okay, means like yellowish brown or yellow. Okay, so it's a Huang is it derives from the Chinese character. And foreign loan words like pink in English is same thing. We say 핑크색. 색 means color, so 핑크색 means pink. Okay, and as I said, different parts of speech. Noun is 빨강. Okay, but adjective is 붉은. So for adjective for 빨강 is 빨간. Okay, and 붉은 is like crimson color. Okay, and verb 녹다. Something that ends with 타 is a verb. So 녹다 means something that turns green. And adverb. Okay, something that ends with 개 is usually adverbs. So 진하게 means deeply, something that it's like deeper color, right? So 진하게 means deeper, deeply. Okay, the background, no one knows for certain why Koreans use so many different colors. Okay, color names, okay, or how these color words came to be. Some people think it might be because Koreans have been dyeing fabrics with plants for generations. As you can see in many Korean traditional dress, hanbok, you can see many different colors. So they are really good with colors. So I think some people think that's why they have so many different color names. Others think it's because just generally Koreans love beauty and expressing it. So they've come up with lots of ways to talk about colors. Whatever the reason, this wide range of color words in Korean is pretty interesting. And next, understanding hierarchy and respect in Korean is very, very important. So in Korean culture, it's not common to use you to address someone unless you are friends. Instead, people use honorific titles like manager, teacher, older sister, or older brother to show respect and keep social order. So instead of using names or calling names, you would have to know their titles. So that's how Korean people call each other, by titles. And even cousins, they don't use the word cousin to call each other. They would instead say older brother or younger sister based on gender and age. So here's an example how it's different. Okay, among friends, one might ask 밥 먹었니? To ask about if they have eaten. Okay, so 밥 먹었니? Like among friends, you would just say that. But to an elder, you wouldn't say 밥 먹었어요 even. You would say 진지 드셨어요. 진지 is another way. It's like honorific word for 밥, okay, which means like meal. So as you can see, there are different ways to say different things, okay, depending on who you're talking to. So understanding the importance of age and hierarchy is a big deal in learning Korean. So messing up with this language game in this area can cause some real misunderstandings. In Korean culture, older folks are supposed to look out for the younger ones, like paying the bill or buying meals at dinner or lunch, So and also younger people are expected to show respect to their elders. So as you can see, this respect and hierarchy is woven into the language with lots of special words and terms. Okay, that's why using the right verb ending or conjugation is important in Korean. Okay, lastly, understanding verb position. In Korean, verb is seen as the key word in the sentence. It comes at the very end of the sentence. That's why there's a saying in Korean that you should listen until the end when you're listening to Korean, because only at the end they will really tell you what they mean to say. Okay, this way of structuring sentences reflect unique Korean values like being considerate, humble, and also the saving face culture. And it shows culture preference to give all the important details first and then state the action at the end. And the verb usually states your opinion, your decision, action, feelings, and so on. But in English, the verb comes right after the subject, directly telling the listener what is happening or what the speaker intends to do. Plus, English is super clear about time, space, and numbers, unlike Korean, where these things can be a little fuzzy. Yeah, that's why Koreans might find it harder to understand if something is singular or plural. Okay, or to tell if something is singular or plural, because it's not mentioned in Korean. So as you can see, like verb plays a very important part in the Korean sentence, as of course as well as in English, but the position are different, and that reflects like how Korean culture is really super big. They put big deal on saving face and being polite and not being rude, things like that. And yeah, so that's why these differences come out. And why these differences come out is maybe because in English speaking societies, um, to keep track of like time and family size, because people often moved around a lot. So these things were very important because they need to know who was missing or when they can get somewhere on time, things like that. But whereas in Korea, it's not as important because if you look at Korea's past history, where everyone lived together in an agricultural environment, like in farming, right? They just farmed, and they shared meals, and no matter how many people are there, they just shared the meal together. So exact numbers weren't as crucial. So we can say that Korean is more about relationships and English is more about facts and figures. So in conclusion, the differences between Korean and English show how diverse and complex human societies are. Understanding these differences help us see how language reflects and shapes cultural values, affecting how people communicate and connect. Whether it's the way context matters or how respect and hierarchy are expressed, Korean and English give us unique ways to navigate human relationships. So, as we dig deeper into these differences, we can learn more about how language, culture, and society all interact. And that gives us a richer understanding of the world. Thank you for listening today. There are more differences in these two languages, but today I have covered 5 of them. I hope this helps you in learning Korean. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.